This is Administrative Law Judge Taylor on the record in the case of Leo Kono versus Los Angeles County. State hearing number 105084398. Today is March 25th, 2025. The time is 1:36 p.m.
DSS State Hearings, Ms. Washington, may I help you?
Good afternoon. This is Administrative Law Judge Taylor. I'm calling in reference to the 2 p.m. hearing of Leo Kono.
Yes.
Would you be ready to proceed early? Apparently, he's arrived.
Of course, yes.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll have him send him in. Yes, Rabina. Miss Washington's ready, so you can send in Mr. Kono. All right. Thank you. Yep. Good afternoon.
Where should I sit?
Welcome. You can sit right here.
Okay, thank you.
All right. This one here, sir, if you don't mind, this seat.
Oh, the seat, okay.
Yeah.
Can I leave the stuff there?
Yeah. That's fine. All right. Good afternoon to you both. This is the state hearing of Leo Kono versus Los Angeles County. And the claimant is in person at the county office, and the county representative is on the phone. This hearing is being recorded as required by law. Therefore, I ask that you speak clearly and one at a time. I'm Administrative Law Judge Taylor. I've been appointed by the California Department of Social Services. I do not work for the county. Let's have the parties place their full name on the record, starting with the claimant.
My name is Leo Kono, C-O-N-O.
And for the county?
Jacqueline, Washington.
Alrighty, now Mr. Kono, have you received the county's, so you have two cases, so this would be the statement of position.
This is CalFresh.
You have two cases today, right? A 2 p.m. and a 3 p.m.
Right. Are these cases being recorded? Because I'm requesting for them to be recorded.
Yes, this hearing is being recorded.
Good.
Let me pull up the right statement of position. So there's an 8-page, no, that's a different one. There we go. So there's a 16-page statement of position in this case. Have you received all 16 pages?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, I'm going to administer the oath. As all testimony must be sworn, could you please raise your right hands? Do you hereby solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Mr. Kono?
Yes, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Excellent. Ms. Washington?
Yes, I do.
All right, I will now explain the hearing process. At this hearing, both parties get to present their testimony and evidence. Any documents, financial records, anything of that nature that you want to submit so I can review in deciding this case. Both parties also get to ask questions of the opposing party. That's the process known as cross-examination. So you'll get to present your evidence and ask questions, and the county gets to do the same. We're just going to go back and forth until all parties have been fully heard, but the county will start because they have the burden to prove that their actions were legally correct. All right? Now, this decision will not be made today, but a written decision will be mailed to the parties sometime after this hearing. So let me confirm that we have the correct information. Okay, let's start over here. So, Mr. Kono, I have here pull up the case. Great. Okay. Did you sign up for that you would prefer to receive information via email? Is that right?
Yes, email, because my mail is being stolen at the 1055 North Vignes Street, General Delivery, Los Angeles, California.
Okay, well, we don't need to know that. So then let me confirm the email address to make sure we send the decision to the right place. I have leocono89@outlook.com. Is that
Yes.
still viable?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's where the decision will be mailed. If either party disagrees, you'll both have 30 days to request a rehearing and 1 year to file an action in Superior Court. Now, for efficiency, I'm going to introduce, you've submitted a number of exhibits electronically. Is that right, sir?
Right.
So I'm going to introduce all of those.
May I ask a question?
And you can explain. We're not there yet. Well, what is the question? It's about the hearing?
Is this related to CalFresh and the amount that I'm receiving of $292 is not enough?
I have that this case is about $292, starting November through October 2025.
Are there any additional statement of positions with this case?
Statement of position. I only see the. Wait a minute. Let me go back. 16 pages. Yeah, I only see 16 pages here. And
Okay.
yeah, it mentions the November 4th hearing request following the October 8th notice of action. So
the question is the $292 that I'm receiving for CalFresh is not enough.
that's the issue.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty. So we've got the exhibits then. I'll introduce the statement of position. I'll introduce the claimant's exhibits. Both parties can put in additional documents as they see fit, but I'm going to put everything that's on ACMS, the Appeals Case Management System. That's all going into the record now. The issue is the 292. So the county has the burden to prove that that is the correct amount. So they'll go first. So Ms. Washington, whenever you're ready.
Okay. The claimant completed his CalFresh recertification interview on October the 8th of 2024. This is related to his September 2024 recertification. The household is only consistent of Mr. Kono, and he has a SAR cycle 5 with a renewal month of October 2024 and a data month of September 2024. Mr. Kono completed his CalFresh recertification interview on 10/8/2024. During the interview process, he stated he was homeless with no other expenses reported. His CalFresh benefits were computed using his unearned income of $221. That's from general relief, a shelter expense of $8.50, and a standard utility allowance of $645. On 10/8, the county notified Mr. Kono in writing that his application for CalFresh was approved and he would receive $292 in CalFresh benefits effective 11/1/2024, which is the maximum allowable for a household size of 1. However, according to journal notes, Mr. Kono does not have a shelter expense of $8.50 because he reported that he is homeless. He is eligible to the homeless shelter deduction of $190.30 if he spends or expects to spend any amount of money on shelter. Mr. Kono is not eligible to the sewer because he does not pay for heating or cooling. The county stipulates to send a new notice of action notifying Mr. Kono that he is eligible to $292 effective 11/1/2024 and exclude the shelter expense and the standard utility allowance. The exclusion of the shelter expense and the utility allowance will not affect Mr. Kono's CalFresh benefit amount. He will continue to be eligible to the maximum CalFresh benefit allotment of $292 for a CalFresh household size of 1.
Is that it, Ms. Washington?
Yes, it is.
All right, let me ask you on page 16, the last page of statement of position, there's the issuance history.
Mm-hmm.
Am I seeing here November 2024, $20.01? Was that the state utility assistance subsidy?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's all the questions I have. Mr. Kono, as I stated, you have the right of cross-examination.
Okay.
Any questions for Ms. Washington at this time?
Well, first of all, I object to her statement that the maximum amount is only $292, and I would like to tell you that you are blatantly breaking the law of California code and also the federal U.S. code. And for example, I have here WIC 17000, 17,000. Every county and every city shall receive and support all incompetent, poor, indigent persons incapacitated by age, disease, or accident. And so since I've become homeless is because I started a lawsuit and defendants are retaliating and they have contaminated my clothing at the People Concerned, the bin, at the Ross store, at Burlington Coat Factory, at Big Five Sporting Goods, at TJ Maxx. These are a racketeering crew. There's a racketeering going on, and the racketeering crew that are defendants have deliberate and intentionally contaminated my clothing with herpes and syphilis and lice.
Were any of these county employees, just so I'm clear?
Yes.
Okay.
And so what I would like to say is that because of this reason, I need special diet, and I was a patient of Medi-Cal, Medicaid, LA Care, and then I had to switch to Molina. And LA Care has a program for somebody, it's called an exemption request, and also additional CalFresh, because I need special food products to cure my disease that I contracted because they deliberately and intentionally infected my clothing, that I'm still having a problem. The $221 that I am receiving is not income, because I'm spending all that money replacing my clothing and buying medical products to cure my illness. And the Medicaid, Medi-Cal, Molina is not accepted everywhere. As a matter of fact, I have visits to specialists, and they give me the runaround. So my point is that you may be telling me that the maximum allowance is $292 for CalFresh, but I am telling you that you're blatantly breaking the law, which is WIC 17000. In addition to that, you're breaking the law of BPC 6210, because you're supposed to provide to me legal services to indigent persons, because I used to be a top-notch computer consultant, and because of domestic violence and I am a crime victim, I am now indigent and destitute and homeless, and I'm in a lawsuit, and defendants are retaliating. So I'm supposed to also receive money for USPS mail and for e-filing and for court fees. In addition to that, there is the Gov Code of California, which talks about the American with Disabilities Act of 1990. So this is very important, because along with the Department of Agriculture, the American with Disabilities Act of 1990 is the source where DPSS is in Los Angeles County is receiving funds to pay for me and to pay for indigent and homeless persons like myself with a disability and with a disease that was contracted by defendant. I was deliberately infected by defendants. So what I'm telling you is that the jurisdiction of American with Disabilities Act and also the Department of Agriculture supersedes your maximum allowance that you're quoting. And also, I would like to know, this maximum allowance for one person of $292, where are you getting this from? Because I looked at the WIC manual and I could not find that. And in addition to that, you're not taking into account the situation that I'm indigent with a disease. Also, there's WIC 17200, work relief projects, that because I'm indigent and because I have no money and I have an infectious disease, it is your responsibility to help me get a job. Because of racketeering collusion, I'm on a blackball list, and because of racketeering collusion, I cannot get a job, because the people who are with the United States of America, which is who I'm fighting for, is the United States. The people that are pro-United States don't want to hire me because they see me as trouble, because if they hire me, even though I'm doing an excellent job working, there are defendants that are showing up that are trying to assassinate me, or they're trying to cause and create havoc. So the people that are pro-United States don't want to hire me, and the people who are part of the racketeering don't want to hire me because they have stolen my money, they have stolen my nest egg, and they don't want to pay it back. So
again, are these county workers that you're saying are trying to do this harm?
I'm saying there's a variety of people. So specifically, I'm quoting the California WIC work relief projects, which is 17200. Work may be required of an indigent under Section 1700 who is not incapacitated by reason of age, disease, or accident. So in my case, or condition of relief. In my case, I am a top-notch computer programmer. I'm very good at what I do. I have lots of skills, but I cannot get a job now because of infectious diseases. I cannot get a job because I am a victim of crimes and because I am a whistleblower. And there's also something else called the Whistleblower Protection Act, which is a federal law that protects me. And then I would like to speak to you about Part 5 of the California legislation, California law, Part 5, County Aid and Relief to Indigents. This is part of the WIC, Welfare and Institutions Code. There's a whole table of contents of benefits that I'm supposed to receive that are ignored. It's called Part 5, County Aid and Relief to Indigents. Then there is the Health and Safety Code for communicable diseases prevention, and it talks about infectious diseases, it talks about indigent, it talks about my situation that you're supposed to give me extra money because of Health and Safety Code HSC, Communicable Disease Prevention and Control 120115. Then also my situation is that I filed complaints and I'm a whistleblower, so I am receiving witness protection program. I'm under, full disclosure, I'm under the Federal Witness Protection Program. However, people think I'm a United States Armed Forces veteran, and people think that I'm with the military. And that is partially true because the people who are administering the witness protection is the United States military and also the Secret Service. So for that reason, I may or may not be considered an indigent veteran, which is the Military and Veterans Code MVC 928, because the people who are receiving funds for witness protection program are not giving me any of that money. I reached out to FEMA and the Homeland Security Civil Rights Division. They're not giving me any of that money. So it's like people are saying that I'm in the military, but if I go to the hotel, I can't even get a military discount. And the witness protection program is not paying me anything. They're keeping all the money for themselves. Then there is the right to a state hearing, which I've spoken to you about previously, which is WIC 22-003.
We're at the state hearing, sir. This is the state hearing.
Right, but my point here is that there are three factors. One is classes of recipients, incorrect grant computation, and wisdom and qualifications of the administrative law judge. The most important one is classes of recipients. I have been falsely accused of being mentally ill. I am not mentally ill, and defendants have put me through severe testing for the last how many years, and you don't have a class of recipient for domestic violence because I'm in this situation because of family members. And I am a crime victim and a victim of domestic violence, so you should have a different class of recipient because I'm not mentally ill, and you're trying to say I'm mentally ill, but I'm not. And also, according to the grant computations, you're mentioning a shelter expense, utility expense, which is numbers that vary all the time. I've been with DPSS fighting for CalFresh and fighting for the right amounts because my unemployment insurance is also being stolen by Vicente Axon, who works for CUIAB. He was arrested, and I filed for a CPRA, which is the California Public Records Information Act, and also the Freedom of Information Act request from the federal government. And because my second wife, Mariana Caval Ramos, was arrested, and she publicly filed a confession, and the confession included instructions for me to get paid my wills and estate through Los Angeles County restitution. And the defendants, I've served them the deposition subpoena. They will not give me those bill of records with instructions on how I can get paid. And so this is why I'm speaking to you about incorrect grant computations, because there was a Deja Fertel, back in 2019, there was a Deja Fertel, who I think is somehow now, based on my current discovery, I think she's related to my stepdaughter, Jacqueline Carvalho. And also there is a Leo Cano, spelled with an A, C-A-N-O, and he's supposed to be my son. Somehow I'm thinking that maybe this is related to Calvin Carvalho, which is supposed to be Calvin Say's son, who's the vice president of City National Bank, who hired me. And I think my second wife, Mariana Carvalho Ramos, was in a big mismarriage with Calvin Say. And so what's going on here is that
How many people are in your CalFresh household now?
Only one, but the
It's just you.
Right, but the point that I'm trying to make is that my second wife, Mariana Carvalho Ramos, and Jacqueline Carvalho, who's probably now going by the name Fatima, or going by the name Andrea, or going by the name, what other names, you know, and also Calvin Carvalho is probably also going by the name Vicente Axon, because he's related to his father, Calvin Say. But the point that I'm trying to say here is that how can you be paying these fraudulent family members any amount when they're billionaires? You know, I'm indigent, I have zero money, and all the money that I'm receiving with $221 is
I haven't
used
heard any
to
evidence
replace
that the county
clothing.
is paying any money to anyone other than the $292
Well,
to yourself.
There is evidence that I filed there, and if you look in the cases, or if you want, we can follow up on this, and I can send it to you again. There is a Deja Futrell with Rodney Williams, and Karina Gazarian, and Violetta Turpagoshin, and Julie
your argument
Altair,
is that
and
the county is paying these people money that should go to you? Is that what I'm hearing?
because when I first filed an application with DPSS, it was with CalWorks, with Metro East.
Okay.
No, Metro West, sorry, Metro West. And then also Wilshire Special 10. So originally, I was trying to get custody of my stepdaughter, Jacqueline Carvalho, and also Calvin Carvalho, because they were left in New Jersey, and they were being tortured and raped and molested. So I lost that battle. However, I'm finding out that Mariana Carvalho was working for the Office of Special Counsel and also the CIA, and they were going around murdering tycoons, billionaires, and scholars like myself to get rich. You know, they were like stealing billions of dollars and committing tax evasion and money laundering.
From the county, or?
No, from the United States in general. And so this is Mariana Carvalho. I was married to her for, I think, around 2 years. And the only reason why she married me is to steal my intellectual property.
Okay.
And
I got to focus this on the county.
Right, on the county. The reason why this is relevant to the county is that if the county is paying, because I noticed on the CalSAWS, there is one general ledger report that I received from Janelle Carrera, and Janelle Carrera mentioned a CalSAWS report, SAWS, and also a LRS report. And based on my file number, in addition to the case number, based on my file number, you can see that they're receiving benefits, and you can also see that the utility expense and the shelter expense used to be zero, and then used to be like $160, and then $600, and now $60. They keep varying, because my CalFresh money is not coming from a true CalFresh. It's coming from the General Relief Cash Aid, and they give me a portion of the General Relief Cash Aid, and my real CalFresh is going to somebody else who claim to be fraudulent family members. But what I'm telling you is that they're not qualified to receive my benefits because they're billionaires. How can you be giving food stamps? How can you be giving SNAP, EBT, CalFresh to billionaires? You know, the CIA agents, the Office of Special Counsel agents, and they're billionaires because they've been pillaging for the last 10 years or more, which was known as Spygate, and so they should not be entitled to receive any CalFresh benefits at all. It's CalFresh fraud. In addition to that, when I first moved to California, it was 2013, and then the divorce didn't work out, but then I moved to Los Angeles because I got a job at MIE Solutions at Garden Grove, and also City National Bank in Los Angeles. I was taking the 710 Express bus from 7400 Center Avenue, apartment 477, Huntington Beach, California, 92647 to 555 South Flower Street, City National Bank. And when I went to the Garden Grove DPSS office, they were giving me 586,000 CalFresh, and that was 2017. This is 2025, so it's like 17. This is like 8 years later, and the $586 should be more like $1,000, but instead it's been reduced to $292, and you're using the excuse that this is the maximum allowance. And I want to see the law. I want to see either the federal law or the California code that gives you the right to say that $292 is the maximum, because all the laws that I have here that I can show you, especially WIC 17000, every county and every city shall relieve and support all incompetent, poor, indigent persons incapacitated by age, disease, accident, or a law or anything else. So you're blatantly breaking the law. In addition to that, I put out a SAR 7. Now, this was between 2019 and I think 2 or 3 years ago. You used to accept SAR 7s with itemized list of expenses, adjustments, or deductions. Now, you don't even want to see it. And for example...
Are you self-employed?
No, I'm currently homeless, indigent, and destitute since 2017 because I've been in lawsuits attempting to get my money, and I cannot get my nest egg from...
So what itemized expenses are you trying to
consider? Okay, so for example, because of my homeless situation, you know, I'm supposed to get shelter, you know, according to the Geneva Convention, according to the Hague Convention, and according to prisoner of war standards, and even according to WIC 17000 and all the other laws that I've quoted you. I'm supposed to get shelter. I'm supposed to get personal hygiene products.
Are we talking about deductions?
Deductions, right. Okay. Expenses.
So how much are you paying for, let's take them one by one. Let's go housing.
Housing.
Do you have any rent or mortgage?
Well, when I first applied
No. We're talking about, this went into effect last year. So as of October 2024,
right.
Were you not, anything before October 2024, were you paying any money for any sort of housing?
No, because I am in a destitute, indigent situation because I was receiving unemployment insurance, and there was fraud with the unemployment insurance, and I received, I think, like $5,000 payout, and then I was using that $5,000 to stay at a hotel.
Okay.
But then they sent the Axon.
So any hotel receipts, any motel expenses from October 2024? Do you have any of that paperwork?
I have all that, and I emailed it to Janelle Carrera, Juliet Zagarayan, and Chirac.
Are those county employees, I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
DPSS workers. Janelle Carrera. Also, they're all uploaded. If you look at the ACMS, you'll see that I've uploaded, but if not...
You submitted your motel receipts?
I submitted it to Janelle Carrera, and I have emailed to prove it. And I think they...
What about the receipts themselves?
I have the receipts. I have the receipts stored in Google Drive.
Okay.
And
you submitted them in October of last year?
No, this was, I think, 4 or 5 years ago.
No. I only can look at from October 2024. I can't go back 5-10 years and award you CalFresh.
Well, I don't have any expenses because I don't have any income, because Vicente Axon of CUIAB is stealing my unemployment insurance, and also Ziel Balaco, she's part of Faith Tabernacle Church in Wonderful, and her and her daughter Angela Balaco and Maria Balaco and Marla Balaco, who's related to Christina Hajar, the DPSS director. They're stealing my disability insurance because I filed for disability. I filed for paid family leave. They're stealing my disability insurance. They're stealing my Medi-Cal. And they're stealing my unemployment insurance, pandemic, and federal. And so I don't have any expenses because I don't have any income because they're stealing my government benefits.
What about this $8.50 shelter cost? That's not viable? The county mentioned $8.50.
You know, that varies for several years. I would say for maybe like 5 years or more, the deductions, expenses, or adjustments like shelter expense, utility expense, they're always zero. And I have prior reports from prior years that show that those expenses were zero. And now it seems like fraud that they're magically coming up with numbers like, what did you say, $18 or
$8.50.
And I have another one that shows $600, another one that shows the numbers keep varying, you know.
But bottom line, so you were never paying $8.50 for shelter?
No.
You're not sure where that came from?
No.
Okay,
But
let's keep going.
what I'm saying is that I filed a CPRA request.
I don't know what that is, sir.
It's a California Public Records Information Act request and also a Freedom of Information Act request, because I want to know if there are fraudulent family members receiving CalFresh that I'm supposed to be receiving, and they denied providing me with that disclosure.
You asked for CalFresh information on other persons,
Based
not
on
in your household?
Based on my file number that I received back in 2019, I received a file number, and also I have reports from Janelle Carrera for CalSAWS and LRS that has the evidence of fraudulent family members and has the evidence of the general ledger. And what I'm saying is that there is fraud in the general ledger because, as you can see, they're saying that, what did you say, $18 and then $0 and then $600? That's obviously general ledger fraud. And I'm requesting forensic accounting and asset tracing because I believe that, for example, with my file and my social security number, based on my social security number or based on my file number and case number, I would like the county to initiate a forensic accounting on the general ledger that pertains to me because there's obviously fraud.
All right, and then let's go through any other shelter-related expenses. There's something called the homeless shelter deduction. If you have, for instance, if you sleep in a car, you're allowed to deduct the value of car insurance that you pay each month for collision and,
No,
insurance
I don't have to
premium.
do that because, as I mentioned, I'm under the Federal Witness Protection Program and I'm sleeping at the Santa Monica beach, and there are people who show up to try to assassinate me or try to beat me up.
Is there any sort of structure, though? Are you in any sort of...
No, I'm on Wilshire Boulevard and Ocean, like the beach, right down from Arizona. You take Arizona down to the beach, and then you make a right, and I'm right there next to the Perry.
So no vehicle expenses?
I don't have a vehicle. I haven't had a vehicle since I think since 2017.
All righty.
But
let's keep going. There may be other. You said you wanted all the deductions.
But
so
what I'm saying is that there might be deductions that I don't know about because I never received disclosure because I'm under the Federal Witness Protection Program.
That's why I'm asking you these questions.
The Federal Witness Protection Program, they're receiving funds. They're receiving money that is supposed to come to me.
I have no authority over that
and
program.
Homeland Security, Civil Rights.
Sir,
They're
I have
not giving
zero
me that
authority
money.
over that program. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay, so let's keep going with the potential shelter costs.
So, yeah.
Do you have any... Okay, no vehicle expenses. Let's skip that. No fuel cost. Okay. So, do you incur? Let me make sure I word this correctly. Do you incur any costs for your shelter at all, such as maybe a tent or any costs like that?
Zero costs.
Zero costs. Okay.
But there's items that I have to replace.
Such as?
Such as, I'm sleeping in a tarp with a blanket, and every time it rains, the blanket gets wet and it needs to be replaced. So now...
okay, so that would be a cost then for your shelter.
Also, what's more important to me is that...
You have to buy a new blanket? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure. You have to buy a new blanket.
Yeah, I go to Home Depot and I buy a new blanket, which is about $90.
For $90?
Yeah, it's a special blanket. It's weather resistant.
Weather resistant. Okay.
So the other thing is that
All right, what else? Tell me about the other items you want.
I was receiving California Lifeline, but I had to go through, I think, 13 different phones in the last 9 years because,
That's a phone service?
yeah, it's called the Obama phone, California Lifeline.
I have no jurisdiction over
ACP.
that. I can't take any evidence on it.
Well,
Let's get back to the
I'll
shelter
tell you why you
expenses.
do have jurisdiction is because of the WIC 17000. Every county and every city shall relieve and support. So, you know, I'm indigent because I'm a victim, and I'm also a victim because they have contaminated me with herpes and syphilis. And I have extra costs. On top of that, I'm in lawsuits to try to recover my nest egg from Laura Jane Kestner and Mary Hearn.
Are those county employees?
Laura Jane Kestner is the chief deputy at Los Angeles County District Attorney, and she stole my restitution money, along with her relative, Mary Hearn, who is in charge of the 5th floor sheriff's office at Stanley Moss Courthouse, and also related to others. It related to Jennifer Newstead at Facebook. So they're running a pyramid Ponzi scheme, and they're using my benefits to pay for Facebook ads, Meta Platforms ads, and it makes the stock go up, and they make their money on BlackRock and Vanguard mutual fund and stocks.
How much does the TARP cost?
I believe the TARP is also $60. But what I would like to say is that I need a phone. You know, I cannot.
Sir, I can't get you a phone.
Anything. I cannot function
That's
without
not
a
what
phone.
I do here.
I need.
This is about CalFresh. I can only.
Oh, it's about CalFresh.
I can only order CalFresh. You're going into stuff that's
I
has nothing to
understand.
do with.
It has to do with General Relief Cash Aid, but we're
All right, let's
only
get to that.
talking
Let's
about
get to that.
CalFresh.
The county testified that you're receiving $221 per month in general relief. You seem to dispute that. Is that not accurate?
I am disputing that.
Okay. How much are you receiving, if any?
No, I am
per month
receiving
in general
221, but I'm saying that my expenses, adjustments, and deductions are zero, and I have a list that they're not including.
Okay, so let me
if we want
understand.
to go
You're
back
receiving the 221, but you're saying your effective income is zero. Is that what I'm hearing?
no, what I'm saying is that from the $221,
Mm-hmm.
I have to use it to replace my clothing, but I also, when I go to the supermarket, I have to buy special food products like probiotic and almonds and milk, sometimes special kind of milk. I have to get grapefruit juice. So there's special food products that I need, and I tried to apply for additional CalFresh, which was advertised by LA Care. They would not give me the additional CalFresh. And
Okay, so you're saying you do receive $221, but it's not enough.
no, the $221 is for the cash aid, but I'm using a portion of that cash aid for food products and also for personal hygiene products.
Okay, and for that reason, you want more CalFresh.
I want more CalFresh so that I won't have to spend some of that $221 on buying food or personal hygiene products.
Got it. Now are you at least 60 years of age?
I'm going to be 59 on April 24th of this year.
So not at least 60 years of age. Do you have any disabilities?
I do have an infectious disease all over my body that...
Let me ask it this way. Do you have any designation of disability from the Social Security Administration where they've awarded you benefits that are disability related, such as SSI, SSD?
I've applied to ED, SDI, and also paid family leave.
Okay.
But now I'm a victim of disability fraud from Dr. David Barcohana on Wilshire Boulevard, and I have evidence that they're stealing my disability insurance, and they're also stealing my paid family leave.
The county?
No, the David Barcohana's office. And
Okay, I'm
also
just asking about the
China
Social
Service
Security
Center.
Administration. Has the Social Security Administration certified you as a disabled person eligible for benefits?
No, because there are defendants that are working for Social Security that are part of the David Barcohana and the D'Arienzo crime family racketeering. They're part of the racketeering crew, and it's known as the D'Arienzo crime family, and also the Blanco Battistoni crime family. And
Are you eligible for any benefits based on being a veteran, a disabled veteran?
No, because I'm not officially a veteran because I'm under the witness protection program. So I've been living the life of a military veteran, because more than a veteran, I've been living the life of a military soldier, you know. And it's been going on for 9 years. So you might say that I'm a military veteran because of what I went through in the last 9 years. But officially, I'm not in the military. Officially, I'm under the Federal Witness Protection Program.
And the VA hasn't said you're entitled to benefits each month based on.
I've never applied to Veterans Affairs, VA.
Fair enough. Have you ever had any railroad-related employment? Where you used to work for a railroad?
No.
All right.
So, you know, as far as going back, since the scope of this hearing is CalFresh, I would like to say that there is something else that I want to show, which is WIC, Welfare and Institutions Code 17109. As a condition to the grant or continuation of aid to an indigent, the Board of Supervisors may require security of money so expended. However, it goes on to say that that I have an estate, you know, I have an 8,500 square foot house at 326 Rockridge Court in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, that Mary Premtage, Carol Murray of Sotheby's and Compass Real Estate, my real estate agent, stole from me, and I'm in a lawsuit to recover. And her relative, Laura Jane Kessler, the LADA, will not give me that money for my house, which is at least $2 million. And so, in addition to that, my father left me a will at TD Ameritrade of at least $1.82 billion, which was arrested by Saran McEvoy, and it was known as the Perfectus Aluminum. And they took that money and they bought aluminum and they put it into money laundering for Oceanwide Plaza, and also money laundering at Los Angeles Protocol. And so all this money, in addition to that, my VisualBasic.net and my SQL Server that was stolen by Mark Zuckerberg and my second wife, Mariani Caval Ramos, that she put a confession, and my intellectual property was used to create Facebook Meta Platforms website, and so I should be entitled to a portion of that stock.
Sir, I can't order Facebook.
I understand, but what I'm saying is that there are billions of dollars in my wills and estate, and according to WIC 17109 eligibility, my estate can be used as collateral to pay for costs, because it says, do all things necessary for the protection, preservation, and management thereof. Any such estate, interest, or lien shall be held by the board subject to the claim of the county for reimbursement for aid granted to the applicant or money expended. And then it goes on to say that if there's any extra money, it should be, because the county is going to have costs, so they should be reimbursed for the costs. But this is superseding WIC 17000. WIC 17,000 is saying that because I am indigent with a disease, I should be entitled to all costs. But then to add to it, to make it more specific, I'm not only indigent, but I'm indigent with an estate, and my estate can be used as collateral to pay for all costs, and it's up to the county to be reimbursed from Laura Jane Kessner, a Los Angeles County District Attorney, and Mary Premtage, her name is Schumacher, who's Donald Trump's wife, Schumacher. And so what I'm saying here is that they will not, they don't want to give me any extra money, because my money at TD Ameritrade was stolen, my house was stolen, all of my estate was stolen, and I was planning on paying taxes and also paying law enforcement supplementary costs to get my money back, to confiscate the money and to get my money back. But instead, the defendants and also the DPSS workers do not want to give me any extra CalFresh because they're trying to financially suffocate me and they're trying to choke me so I cannot function. But this is why WIC 17109 is even more important than WIC 17000 because it's saying that I have an estate and you're supposed to pay for all my costs. You're supposed to pay for my hotel or my apartment. You're supposed to pay for my shower. I didn't take a shower in like 5 years. You're supposed to pay for medical treatment of this herpes and syphilis that was intentionally given to me by defendants. I was contaminated.
Sir, medical expenses can only be deducted in the CalFresh program if the person meets the definition of elderly or disabled. And to be elderly, you have to be at least 60 years of age. You've testified you'll be 59 in April. To be disabled, it doesn't just mean you've been diagnosed, with a health condition, but it means you've been certified by either Social Security Administration, Railroad, Employment Act, or the Department of Veterans. Since none of those apply to your situation, you don't meet the CalFresh definition of elderly or disabled, so I cannot consider medical expenses. So I'm not even going to have you waste time and submit that.
But what about additional CalFresh? There's something called additional CalFresh, which is provided by LA Care. It's provided by LA Care and provided by Molina HealthNet, and it's called additional CalFresh. It's also called exemption request for out-of-network billing, which is supposed to pay for additional CalFresh required for over-the-counter products that I need to cure my illness.
Are you talking about Medi-Cal?
Can I get a drink of water?
Whatever you need. You're talking about Medi-Cal, it sounds like.
I'm talking about Medicaid, Medi-Cal.
Right. So you want, well, that's a whole separate issue. Okay.
There's something called additional CalFresh with LA Care and Molina Healthcare, and I applied for additional CalFresh. They won't give it to me. And I went through the trouble of saying that I am an exemption request. And I also tried out-of-network billing. They just will not give me anything. But they are giving additional CalFresh to people of their own kind. So this is racial discrimination.
You've been a victim of racial discrimination by the county?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm in a lawsuit and the DPSS workers have a family relationship with Nancy Medina, who is the chief operating officer or chief clerk. She's the owner of the Stanley Moss Courthouse, and she is operating a pay-to-play racketeering. So they've also stolen my lawsuits, and so this is what's going on. There's a racketeering going on, which is, I think, is part of the South American El Chapo drug cartel, and it's also part of the Facebook Meta Platforms pyramid Ponzi scheme.
This is part of the racial discrimination?
It's part of the racial discrimination because I filed a lawsuit to recover what was stolen from me, and they're retaliating me by financially suffocating me and choking me out of all benefits, and they will not give me my nest egg, they will not give me my life savings, they will not give me any of my wills and estate. And Nancy Medina and also Mary Hearn of the sheriff, Los Angeles County Sheriff, and
wait a minute, I'm having a hard time following this.
Okay.
Who from the county discriminated based on the basis of race?
It is Christina Hajar, who I think has recently been convicted and sent to prison.
Do you know how to spell that last name? Hazard?
H-A-J-J-A-R, I think. Christina Hajar, and I think her real name is Cynthia Christ D'Arienzo, and she's part of the D'Arienzo crime family because she was also arrested prior with the Lufthansa heist in New York and also 9/11.
So what dates
with the
did the discrimination occur? Approximate, doesn't have to be exact.
The discrimination has been ongoing since 2017 or 2019.
2017 or 2019.
It's been ongoing.
Okay.
Because they stole my money, and the evidence that I have is also the
Hajar stole the money?
She's also, the D'Arienzo crime family is also part of the Gambino crime family and also the Balacco crime family and also the Russo crime family because they've been stealing unemployment insurance and disability and CalFresh in New York and New Jersey and now they're committing interstate racketeering because it's not racketeering just to the New York metro area, but they've taken this racketeering national, so it has become interstate racketeering. And here is Christina Hajar and also Tracy Green Williams and
these are
Joyce Lee.
County, well, Tracy Williams, Joyce Lee.
No, it's Tracy Green, Tracy Williams, Christina Hajar, and then.
And was there a Joyce?
No, there is a Hilda, and there is a Juliet Zargarian, and Juliet Zargarian, she also goes by the name Julie Altair, and I think she's a suspected terrorist from the Middle East, Julie Altair, and she's working at Faith Tabernacle Church, and wonderful. And so what I'm saying here is that the $292 only lasts me 8 days, and I have to go to the food pantries like Faith Tabernacle Church or like Silva or like Church on the Pearl or like the YMCA or like Nourish LA. But the problem is that these food pantries are embezzling, you know, it's embezzlement and it's laundering of the food from Vons and from the other places that the other sources that they get in the food, Ralph's, Vons, Mariana stores, Food for Less, wherever they're getting the food, they're supposed to give it to me, but when I go there, they're actually telling me that I'm going there too much. And is
the food pantry run by the county?
The food pantry
private organizations.
I believe that they're all run by the county, and
because you mentioned churches,
right? But
these sound like volunteer organizations.
No, if you look at the list of food pantries in Los Angeles, you will find them all listed there.
All right, wait, let me see. Ms. Washington, does Los Angeles County run any food pantries?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
Okay, I can't order them to do anything.
Now, can you ask her about West Side Food Bank or Silva?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
Okay, I can email you a list, and if you want, you can go on the internet and you can just type West Side Food Bank or Silva or Faith Tabernacle Church. If you go to Google and type 90012 food pantries or 90024 or 90401 food pantries, and you'll see a whole list right on the internet.
Right, but if it's not run by the county, there's nothing I can do about it. That's a...
Well, see, the 209, they're supposed to, according to WIC 17000 and according to WIC 17109 and other, almost the entire WIC part of the California Code, I'm supposed to get 3 meals a day every day, and I'm also having an estate that they can use as collateral to pay for costs of giving me 3 meals a day. However, what's going on here is that $292 is only lasting like 7 days, and I have to go to the food pantries to survive for the rest of the 23 or 24 days because it's 30 or 31 days in a month. And the food pantries tell me that I cannot go there because I go there too much. And another reason why they don't want me going there is because I'm under the Federal Witness Protection Program. So in addition to them being cheapskates and not wanting to pay for my food, they don't want me going there because when I go there, there's like all kinds of military personnel that follow me there, and there's all kinds of investigators, and there's all kinds of legal experts that are following me wherever I go. And so instead of the food pantries giving food to me, the food pantries have to provide for like 10, 20, 30, I don't know how many people are showing up because I'm under a federal witness protection program and other reasons. So the food pantries don't want me going there, and they pretty much banned me, and to the point where they have infected my food with the whooping cough, and they gave me strep throat. Also, because I have been deliberately and intentionally contaminated with herpes and syphilis, they have clothing, and the clothing, they gave me clothing at Faith Tabernacle Church that gave me it gave me like new infections, sort of like, I don't know what's the name of it. It was like, it wasn't herpes, it wasn't syphilis.
Sir, medical expenses can only
But what my
be
point is that
deducted.
I only have $292 the last 7 days, and for the 23 days I have to go to food pantries, and because they don't want me going there, they're contaminating the used clothing there, so that if I dare to wear any of their clothing, I'll be having to go to the emergency room, and I might be dead from the infection, because they're trying to kill me, because that's why I'm under the witness protection program, because they owe me billions of dollars in restitution. They don't want to pay any of that money back, even though I'm paying 90% to the IRS in taxes. They're happy committing tax evasion and money laundering. They don't want to pay me, and they don't want to pay taxes either.
Do you have any dependent care expenses, such as daycare, babysitting for any dependents, minor children, dependent adults?
No, but I am in many lawsuits. I took a case to California
No.
Supreme
Dependent
Court.
care expenses.
Dependent care. No, I don't have any dependent care, but I have legal costs.
I
And
can't
supposed
deduct
to.
that. That's not deductible. Okay, so no
So my point is that I cannot go to the food pantries anymore because they don't want me there, because I have an entourage. I have all kinds of people that are following me there. So I need to be given 3 meals a day for 31 days or 30 days out of a month without having to go to the food pantries. And according to WIC 17109, and according to WIC 1700, and according to other codes that I have here, such as racial discrimination, which is Gov 8315. I also filed a complaint with the Department of Agriculture, and I'm right now collaborating with Fred Pun, and also Roberto Contreras, Civil Rights Division of Food and Nutrition Service, U.S. Department of Agriculture. I'm
I
collaborating
saw the
with
letter
them.
about your complaint. So.
Okay. Then also my cases are being rejected and dismissed by fraud, and so I looked into 22-062 action by the director, and I've requested a review of the prior decisions, and I've requested the Chief Executive Officer of Los Angeles County, Fezia Davenport, and there's also supposed to be a Chief Deputy CEO, which I couldn't find out. I think Fezia Davenport, I don't even think Fezia Davenport is alive. I haven't heard from her in a while. And also the Chief Deputy CEO, I don't think she's alive either. So I'm wondering, who is the new Chief Executive Officer of Los Angeles County? Because Fezia Davenport and Chief Deputy is not there. So out of all these people, is it Jackie Contreras? Because Jackie Contreras is new. She replaced Olga Miranda. And then there's Jennifer Wicks, and she's supposed to be the Inspector General, and she's supposed to be the Oversight Commission, Inspector General and Oversight. So I'm requesting a review by Jennifer Wicks or by Dara Williams, who's also Chief Deputy, but she's Chief Deputy of the Inspector General, so it's not really Chief Deputy of the chief executive office, which is Feesia Davenport.
You want me to review the actions of those people? They're not in this case.
No, what I'm saying is that I've requested a rehearing, which is 22-061, and I think 22-58 or 52. One is called a rehearing, and one is called a review. So I've requested a decision review, and I would like the review to be administered by the chief ALJ, Chief Administrative Law Judge. And in addition to that, I would like it reviewed by Dara Williams. I would like it reviewed by Feesia Davenport, because I think she's dead. I would like it reviewed.
Well, if she's dead, I can't order her to review anything, sir.
Well, if she's dead, then why are there still Los Angeles County paychecks being sent to her bank account?
Okay, so you want the chief ALJ to review your case?
Right,
your,
Chief
your
ALJ.
Cal Fresh case?
All my cases. And also, I want Jennifer Wicks, who's part of the Oversight Commission, and Jackie Contreras. She's the director of DPSS. And not to mention...
Do you want them to join the chief ALJ in the review, or you want each individual to do their own separate review?
No, I want it like... sort of like a pretrial conference where everybody's together.
Okay.
And also, I'm questioning Feesia Davenport. I think she's been murdered. But Feesia Davenport, and also there is a deputy, which I was looking on the internet for like over an hour. I couldn't find it. There is a deputy, chief deputy CEO. Action 22-062, action by the director, and also
22-062. Okay.
That's the WIC manual.
The manual of policies and procedures for CDSS.
Welfare and Institutions Code WIC 22-062, action by the director.
Can I see that, sir? Can you just hold
Sure.
it up?
Actually, you can have all of this. You know, I printed it out for you. So.
I believe that's the State Hearings Division.
Did
you upload these? Or is this different than what you uploaded?
I believe that all of them have been uploaded.
Okay, they're in the record, sir.
But can you also hold on to this?
I'm going to have them make a copy so you can keep it.
Absolutely.
I can't take it from you. I need to give you back the original.
Please do.
Okay.
Please.
Do you have any, you mentioned a previous marriage. Do you pay any child support as part of a court order?
Well, this is the other fraud that's going on. There is a...
Wait, no. Do you pay any child support as part of a court order? I don't need the whole backstory. Just when you got divorced or when you were married, did the judge say you have to pay child support every month?
The judge did say, however, there's fraud involved. There's massive fraud involved.
So it's not being paid. Is that what I'm hearing?
Because the child support enforcement officer has been sent to prison. His name is Tom Burns.
You're not paying any child support currently?
I'm not paying any child support because my children were murdered, and the child support costs kept going up. My children were murdered in May of 2017, and Tom Burns, I called him. He's in Bergen County, New Jersey, and I called him. I said, you know, I think my children have been murdered. Why do you keep increasing the child support costs? And he said, well, it's up to you to reach out to Max at the coroner's office and file a motion in order to have the child support office stop billing you for child support of children that I think have been murdered.
So you are being billed?
I'm being billed, I think, $670,000, which is complete fraud.
And this is all arrears. It's not being paid.
It's all arrears, and the person who committed this child support fraud, his name is Tom Burns, along with the judge Bonnie Misdall, and along with the New Jersey Attorney General Gruber Grewal. They were all sent to prison. They were convicted and were sent to prison, including Tom Burns, who was convicted recently. He was recently convicted, Tom Burns. and also the Guber Grewal, who's the Attorney General for New Jersey, he became the law enforcement for the Securities and Exchange Commission,
That's more information.
and he was also convicted again with
the.
the SEC fraud.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ms. Washington, any questions on cross-examination?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Colonel, anything else you want to put on the record before we conclude this hearing?
Yeah, the other thing I want to say is that I believe that the judge, Elaine Mandel, along with the other judge, Craig D. Collin, and also Vicente Axon and some of the other judges and Los Angeles County workers are stealing my unemployment insurance and are stealing my nest egg, Lord Jane Kessner. And they've all been convicted. The only clue that I have that they've been convicted is that the status of the judge, Elaine Mandel, and the status of the judge, Craig D. Collin, has changed from judge to defendant and respondent, because I escalated my case to appellate court and also to the California Supreme Court with S277250, and I also reached out to Gregory Dresser, who's with the review committee, 2DCA review committee, and because of that, they changed the status of Judge Elaine Mandel from judge to defendant and judge to respondent.
Was this in California?
Yeah, this is in Santa Monica. She's in charge of the Santa Monica courthouse, but she's also going
A civil court, a superior court?
Trial court, yeah.
Okay. Nothing to do with this guy.
But she's also in charge. She's also in charge of all California courts too, because of pay-to-play racketeering.
There's nothing I can do about that, sir. I'm sorry.
And so this is the evidence that I have, which is a confession by my second wife, Mariani Caval Ramos, that has payment instructions that Los Angeles County Recorder's Registrar's Office, Dean Logan and Stanley Moss Courthouse records and judges' notes. They won't give me they won't give me the bill of records. And also, I asked for qualifications of Judge Elaine Mandel and the other judge, Michelle Williams Court, who's supposed to be she accused me of being fraud and demurrer, and she was also convicted for that same reason, along with David Slayton.
Anything about your income or expenses? Because that's all I can consider for CalFresh.
Right. Well, what I'm telling you is that I was receiving unemployment insurance. I was receiving COVID unemployment insurance, which is pandemic unemployment insurance, and I was receiving a federal extension for a little while, but it was stolen by Elaine Mandel, and it was stolen by Craig D. Collin, and it was stolen by Vicente Axon, and this is why I don't have any expenses, because I can't pay for the hotel, I can't pay for anything, because that was the income that I was receiving, and the judges stole it from me.
All right, thank you, sir. Time is now 2:49 p.m. All parties have been fully heard. I thank you both for your time and attention. So I will just review the county's action, calculating CalFresh benefits at $292 per month, starting November 2024. You'll receive a copy of the decision via email, and you only have, should you choose to appeal, you only have 30 days to request a rehearing and 1 year to file an action in Superior Court.
Well, I have a request. They made the determination of $292, and I want to know, what is the basis of law for that determination?
That'll be in the decision. So I'm going to run the calculations myself and include all of the laws,
right?
And it'll be cited in the decision as to what I'm relying on.
Because I'm showing you this. I'm showing you this, that they're supposed to cover everything. So how can they say that they only want to give me food for 7 days?
There's other sources other than that. I'll include it in the. You seem very equipped to look up things online. So once you get the decision, you'll see the all county information notice. It's publicly available online. You can read it yourself. If you disagree, go ahead and appeal.
Right. So my declaration is that DPSS workers and also ACMS ALJs have been and are blatantly breaking the law of California Welfare and Institutions Code. They're blatantly breaking the law. And if they're making a statement that $292 is the maximum, I would like to know what is your basis of law? You know, where are you getting this from?
I'll just tell you now, sir, so we can save some time. There's something called the maximum allotment.
Right. Which is part of which law?
And as of October 2024, all county information notice number I-4524 was published September 23rd, 2024.
Information. That's not a law. That's not a code.
This has the effect of law, sir.
Perhaps Christina Hajar, who was the previous director of DPSS, perhaps she created this information and she has made this statement and declaration that the maximum that we can give you. But it's not based on any law, so I would like to know.
Sir, if you disagree, you can
based
appeal.
on which U.S. code, based on which
I'm not going there, sir.
California code, because I'm showing you the California
I'm
code.
not going there. If you disagree, you can appeal. All right?
Okay.
Okay. Time is now 2:52 p.m. All parties have been fully heard. I thank you both for your time and attention.
Likewise,
We'll go ahead and wrap it up. Let me get some assistance for getting these copies here. Ms. Washington?
Yes.
I tried to call the front desk, Ms. Rabina. They're not answering. How can Mr. Coe? How can we get copies of the documents he's brought? I need to get copies made.
I don't need a copy yet.
Okay. What hearing room are you in?
It's the first floor. It's the all the way at the end of the building, I guess.
Okay.
Across from the USC. Looks like some sort of spaceship or some sort of museum is being built. I'm not sure.
Okay, so I'll contact clerical and have someone to come down to make copies.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, sir. So just wait outside.
Okay.
They're just going to send someone to make a copy. So I'll get it. The county's entitled to take a look as well, and then you can take the originals home.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you. Now, you do have a 3 p.m. hearing.
Oh, this is 3 also.
Is this a different issue or is it the same thing?
It's basically the same thing.
I can't cover everything twice because that would be duplicative. Is there anything that you've not discussed that needs to be put on the record in that case?
Well, you know, the other thing is that Kenneth Edwards and California
Well, that's
Lifeline,
relevant to CalFresh income
they
and
keep
expense.
stealing my phone number because they think that they own the California Lifeline Assurance Wireless phone, and I don't have a phone. I don't have Wi-Fi, and I need money for legal services. I need money for USPS priority mail. I need money for e-filing. I need money for online subscriptions like Google Drive, and
you want CalFresh to pay for all that?
no, I think what I'm saying is that the money that I am
Excuse me,
receiving.
Your Honor. I'm going to disconnect so I can get someone down there.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Washington.
What I'm saying is that
Thank you.
the money that I am receiving of $292 is not coming from SNAP. It's not coming from SNAP EBT CalFresh.
All right. It's all right. It sounds like you
It's
have some
coming
other
from-
information. Go outside, and then at 3, I'll call you back in, and there'll be a different county representative. Take these documents, though, so they can make copies.
Okay. All right.
Okay.